Uh, Hope you are doing well, and I'm happy to share today about mixed method research. So, actually, I did this workshop a few months back, and I wanted to ask CHDR just play my previous video and spend more time for Q&A in this session. But okay, and maybe some of you attended the previous workshop. I'm not sure. For those who attended previous workshop, so this will be a bit of repetition, but I can go faster, and we can spend a bit of time for Q&A at the end. During my presentation, also, if you have any question, you can stop me and ask your question. You should not wait until end of session. Okay. Today's topic is about mixed method research. But before sharing my slide, let me give you some resources that you can refer for your study if you want to apply mixed method research. First, okay, self-promotion. This is my YouTube channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, please do it. So here you can find several videos on different topics, especially for all topics actually are research related topics, and especially for quantitative research method and quantitative data analysis. So there are a good number of videos on different topics related to quantitative research method. Also, there are some some videos about mixed method, and of course, if you are interested to know about partial least square structural equation modeling, there are some videos on PLSSEM. So you can watch those videos in this YouTube channel. I will try to add more video, especially one of the topic that recently I published is about fuzzy set qualitative comparative analysis and mixing with PLS. We published a paper last year. Here I have a video on this, but I will create a demo video for this paper, how we can run FSQCA and in the software and combine with PLSSC. I emphasize on this because this is a sort of mixed method. Mixing qualitative and quantitative even can be in analysis part. So later I will explain. Okay. This is the YouTube channel. Recently we published 3 books on research method. First one is the contemporary research method in hospitality and tourism. This book is first one from this series of research method books, and this was published in April. Now is available in Emerald website, and also available to buy in hard copy and soft copy. So here we discuss some topic related to contemporary research method and research paradigm and philosophy, research ethics, literature review, bibliometric analysis, and some fundamental topic on quantitative and qualitative, like what's the good survey and experimental research and content analysis, qualitative content analysis, and a few more topics. This is the first book that is already published in April. We have 2 more books on research method. Actually, we started this project 2 years ago to publish 1 book, but is ended to publish 3 books. Second book is Advanced Research Method in Hospitality and Tourism. This book already finalized and will be in market and will be published in November this year, again by Emerald. And in this book, actually, we have a few chapters related to mixed method. So we have critical view on the mixed method approach, sequential mixed method, and scale development, that actually the mixed method research, and a few more topics, advanced research method topics, for example, neuromarketing or archival material or analyzing online review, data mining and text mining. A third book is cutting edge research method in hospitality and tourism. And in this book, this will be published. This is in final stage and will be published January 2023. And again, in this book, we have a few topic focus more on quantitative, but we have some advanced qualitative topic in this book, like PLS-SEM or CDSM and econometrics chapter, talk about econometrics and how we can apply econometrics. In all chapters in these three books, we are actually authors. We edited these three books. Our authors discuss about the topic, the method, and provided a guideline, and then they, using an example from hospitality and tourism, they provided application of the guideline and application of method. So will be very useful because it's easy to read and easy to understand on different topics. Here in this book, also we discuss about FSQCA and necessity or necessary condition analysis, ethnography, and other topics. So this book will be available early of 2023. So this is three books, methodology books, that can be useful if you are interested on different method too. For a mixed method, there are many books, many articles related to mixed method research. This is one of the journal that, if you are interested in mixed method to understand deeply and to engage with mixed method research, this is a journal that publish papers related to mixed method. Can hear me? My voice is clear?
Yes, very clear.
Okay. This is the journal that you can refer. Actually, this journal was founded by John Creswell and Abbas Tashakuri, two people that initiated the mixed method research, and they have a few books on mixed method research and articles. So now this journal publish paper related to mixed method. So it's if you are interested to know about mixed method, you can regularly refer to this journal and find some interesting topic and recent advancement about mixed method. Also, there are several books, if not many, several books about mixed method from well-known researcher. For example, Foundation of Mixed Method Research by Ted Lee and Tashakuri. These two persons actually publish several books related to mixed method, and they are pioneer of mixed method addition to John Creswell. So this is a book. These books actually are available in library, so you can borrow these books in library. Design and Conducting Mixed Method Research by John Creswell and Wiki Plano Clark. And this is another book by Tashakuri and Ted Lee, Mixed Methodology, Combining Qualitative and Quantitative. So there are many, there are several other books. So you can find these books in library if you are interested to know more about mixed method. Of course, there are many articles related to mixed method. Here I mention about a few, and in my slide also I mention about few of these articles. But this is one of the good article by Professor Venkatesh and his colleague, Bridging Qualitative and Quantitative Research, and this is published in MIS Quarterly in 2013. And there is another paper by Venkatesh and his colleague published in 2016, talk about mixed method research and guideline for mixed method. Also, there are many other articles. For example, these two persons now are editor of co-editor of this journal of mixed method research. So this article actually written by these two persons building a better world through mixed method research, and this is another paper, but in family business. This is another paper for tourism that explained the systematic review actually of mixed method research in tourism. So you can find several books and a lot of articles related to mixed method research if you are interested to know about this methodological choice. I'm saying methodological choice because let me share my slide. Okay. Are you familiar with this research onion, Sanders research onion, right? When we want to design our research and research methodology of our thesis, our research, our paper, we have to consider a few layers. We cannot jump to methodological choice. We have to pay attention to other layers to have the right choice for our methodological approach and our method for research. So first layer, you may familiar with this, maybe familiar with this research onion or Sanders onion. So it's very useful to design our research. And you know, first layer is research paradigm. So a research paradigm come from our mind, so we need to understand what's our understanding about ontology, epistemology, and axiology. So answer to main question under epistemology, on axiology, and ontology lead us to select one of the research paradigm. So we have positivism, critical realism, interpretivism, constructivism, and the postmodernism, and many research paradigm, also pragmatism. So pragmatism is one of the paradigm can work with the mixed method approach. Second layer is research approach, deduction or induction, deductive or inductive research approach. So based on actually that our research, we are moving from theory to data and analyzing and interpreting data, or a starting point of our research is mostly data. So we start from data and try to develop theory. So our research can be deductive or inductive, or can be abductive, combination of these two. Third layer of this Sanders onion or research onion is methodological choice. In this layer, we have to identify our method, and then other layers is design based on our methodological choice. So if our method is quantitative, to answer our research question, we need to apply quantitative method. So fourth layer, we have to select some strategies related to quantitative method. If our method is methodological choice is qualitative, so our approach is inductive, and we need to select, we need to apply qualitative to address our research question. So in fourth layer, we need to select suitable strategy for qualitative, for example, ethnography. If our method is quantitative, we cannot apply ethnography strategy, right? So ethnography experiment survey is in a strategy level, research strategy level. And other layers we need to select accordingly, right? How we collect data, how we analyze data. So all depends on our methodological choice. For methodological choice, we have some here you can see some categories for methodological choice. All research can be multiple method or mono method. Mono method means only we select one method for our research, either qualitative or quantitative. But multiple method can be categorized to two different categories. We need to be very careful about these two categories. One is mixed method, that is the topic of today's session. We will discuss more about mixed method. And another one can be multiple method, multi-method. Mixed method is mixing of qualitative and quantitative under multiple methods. So we apply more than one method, right? But multi-method is not mixing qualitative and quantitative. It's still pure quantitative or pure qualitative, but applying more than one strategy, one data collection, and even more than one data analysis under qualitative and quantitative. So if we have quantitative, a few methods under quantitative, for example, we have our research is qualitative, so to answer our research question, we have to apply qualitative method. But we do content analysis, we analyze some document for content analysis, and we do also ethnography and content analysis, ethnography. And in ethnography, we do interview and also we do observation to collect data, and we do focus group. So we apply multiple strategies and the method for data collection. So this will be multi-method, but still is under qualitative. But for quantitative, we apply survey, and also we do experiment, and we also analyze secondary data in our research. So we apply different strategies and data collection method, but still under quantitative. So this will be multi-method. But what's mixed method? Mixed method is combining qualitative and quantitative. So the main characteristic of mixed method is to have both qualitative and quantitative in our research. Doesn't matter in what level. We can do this combination in different levels, layers, and different part of our research. But to have mixed method, we need to have both qualitative and quantitative in our research, right? So this combination and the element of quantitative and qualitative can happen from the beginning. From the beginning can be from the research question design and based on our research question, can be in data collection level, can be in analysis and inference technique for analyzing our data. So can be in different level. For example, you have at the beginning, you have two research questions in your study. One research question is answered by quantitative. Another research question is answered by qualitative research, right? For example, you want to investigate pro-environmental behavior of tourists, right? And for pro-environmental behavior of tourists, you need to decide to understand the pro-environmental behavior of tourists from tourist perspective and also from hotel managers perspective. You want to see behavior of hotel guests, right? So one research question referred to factors influencing pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests or tourists in hotel. Another one is to explore pro-environmental behavior of guests from the perspective of hotel managers, right? So you have two research questions. For one research question, you apply quantitative for first one to investigate the factor influencing pro-environmental behavior of tourists. And for second one, you apply qualitative. So you do interview with the hotel manager to understand the behavior of tourists from the perspective of manager, right? So by combining these two, this combination happened from the beginning, from your research question. So you have two research questions, that one is addressed by quantitative, another one is addressed by qualitative, right? So this combination happened from the viewpoint, from the research question. Sometimes you have one research question, but you collect both qualitative and quantitative data, right? For example, for same topic, you want to investigate pro-environmental behavior of tourists. But to understand this one, you collect data, quantitative data from tourists, and based on this quantitative data, you analyze factor influencing pro-environmental behavior. But at the same time, you collect qualitative data from tourists to validate your result from quantitative, right? So you have one research question, but you collect data, two set of data, qualitative and quantitative, to address your research question. Sometimes in analysis level, this happens. Factor influencing pro-environmental behavior of tourists. So you develop model based on quantitative, you develop model based on literature and based on theory, and collect quantitative data, But you analyze this using two methods. You analyze this data, quantitative data, using PLSSEM, and also you analyze this data using fuzzy set qualitative comparative analysis that I mentioned. Actually, fuzzy set qualitative comparative analysis doesn't apply statistics, apply its own algorithm to analyze quantitative data. Actually, this method was developed for qualitative data, and is for qualitative research. So can work with even 10 respondents, right? So you can analyze data of 10 respondents. So it's a qualitative approach, but can be applied and analyze quantitative data. And the algorithm is totally different with statistic that we apply in multiple regression, for example, or structural equation modeling or other type of analysis. So you apply both quantitative method and quantitative data analysis and qualitative data analysis approach to analyze your quantitative data. Even this can be combination of qualitative and quantitative, but actually this combination is partially, this combination is not whole process of your research. Only at the latest stage this combination can happen. But maybe if you apply this, someone doesn't accept that this is a mixed method, but still you can justify that this combination happened in analysis level, and you analyze quantitative data using both quantitative method, quantitative analysis method, and qualitative analysis method. So this combination can happen in different stages of your research. So it doesn't matter in what stage this happens, right? Mixing qualitative and quantitative can create a mixed method research. How to decide and design mixed method? Hello, I was kicked out. No, you can hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay.
You can hear you.
Sorry, I'm not sure until when I was here. Okay. I was in this slide, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes,
this
Prof.
is like yes.
Okay. So I continue from here. Okay. So how we decide and design our mixed method research. So the most important things to decide about mixed method is research question. Research question is the most important part of your research. Always decision about method your originality of your work, theoretical contribution of your work always come from research question. Research question. Research question also is starting point and guideline to understand your research method, right? So always to understand and to design our research and select our research method, we need to go back to our research question. So what research method needs your research question? So this is actually the important point and spot to decide about mixed method. If you have, as I explained, and based on my previous example I gave you, if you have two research questions and you want to answer this two research question, one is addressed by qualitative and another one is addressed by quantitative, one qualitative, one quantitative, you have to apply mixed method, right? So the most important part to decide about mixed method is your research question. Sometimes there are some theoretical support. For example, you want to apply, you want to test factors influencing adoption of technology in a rural area, right? Adoption of technology in rural area. When you look at the literature, most of literature that you have refer to mature area or developed area or urban area. So you cannot find the research on rural area, and your understanding and interpretation is factor or adoption of technology in rural area should be different with the resident of urban area. So there are some other characteristics in rural area that push or avoid people to adopt technology, to use technology. So you come to this conclusion that available theories are not sufficient to investigate adoption of technology in rural area, right? So you need to do a qualitative study first to understand some new factors some new factors in the context of rural area for adoption of technology, and combine these new factors that come from your qualitative part to existing theory and test your conceptual framework that is combination of factors from theory, existing theory, and factors that you extracted, you developed from qualitative research. So lack of theory in some context, can be a reason that you decide to apply mixed method. So this doesn't refer to research question. Research question is clear, but in first place you see, okay, this research question can be answered by a quantitative method. But when we go through the research, you find that lack of theory to support your framework. So you need to do qualitative research to develop an comprehensive model, an integrated model for rural context. This can happen in many different studies, and so based on this, if you have lack of theoretical support, sufficient theoretical support, you need to apply qualitative first, and then develop your framework. This can be another reason to decide to apply mixed method. So reason come from these two main sources. One, your research question, and then theoretical background or theoretical framework or theoretical ground of your study. Okay, here there are some other reason, actually similar discussion about how we decide about mixed method and actually what's the step for deciding and designing mixed method. So based on the reason that we decide to apply mixed method, we can have different purpose for our mixed method research and mixed method design. Venkatesh categorized this purpose in 7 different categories, but some of these categories you can see some overlap between these categories, and is not sometimes not easy to differentiate between different categories, but in general you can categorize in these 7 categories. One of these category, actually one of the purpose of research and one of some of the reason to decide to go for mixed method are more robust, and the result will be more demanding and interesting. But some of the reason that we apply mixed method, or some of the purpose of application of mixed method, is not very interesting. I will explain. So first one is complementarity. So two methods, quantitative and qualitative, complement each other, not complete, right? Complement each other. Refer to the example that I gave you for collecting data from tourists, hotel guests, and some of you, your mic is open. Can please mute your mic? So I hear some noises. Okay, so this complementarity, two views, and from qualitative and quantitative and qualitative complement each other. So refer to the example that I gave you, pro-environmental behavior of the hotel guests. We collect data, quantitative data from guests, and qualitative data from managers, because managers can observe behavior of the hotel guests, right? So their view about pro-environmental behavior of tourists can complement finding from tourists, finding from hotel guests, right? So these two views complement each other. So here, qualitative and quantitative can be complementary or complementarity to complement view and finding from one method by other method. Completeness. You want to have complete picture of phenomena. Complete picture of phenomena. Okay, you are investigating. One of my students working with the ethnic tourism, and she planned to collect data from collect quantitative data to understand factor influencing perception of resident in ethnic tourism context. And also she decided to apply qualitative to have deep understanding of perception of resident. So factor influencing perception and perception from quantitative, and also deep understanding of their resident. So this, to have a complete picture of the resident perception in ethnic tourism context. If refer to previous example, if you collect data from both, if you collect data using both qualitative and quantitative from hotel guests, to have complete picture, not to revalidate or cross-validate the result of one method by other method. not. This is other purpose for mixed method, right? If you want to have complete picture, so this is completeness. Developmental actually is one of the most important and most critical purpose to apply mixed method research. Developmental purpose is for some situation that you have lack of theoretical ground. You have lack of theory to understand a concept. Another example that I gave you for a technology adoption in rural area. You have lack of complete or comprehensive factors influencing adoption of technology in rural area. So your research is developmental. You develop framework based on literature and theory and also qualitative phase. So you add a few more factors for from qualitative research to your framework to develop your integrated framework. And then you test your integrated framework using quantitative data. So this is developmental purpose of mixed method or developmental design, we can say, right? So this is to develop framework, develop theory based on your qualitative combined with existing theory and test using quantitative. Another one can be expansion, to expand your understanding. So this somehow can be similar to completeness, because you can expand your understanding or you can have a complete picture of phenomena. Fifth one is corroboration or confirmation. This is the worst mixed method approach, or triangulation. You apply mixed method to cross-validate result of qualitative by quantitative or quantitative by qualitative, right? Cross-validate the result, confirm the result of one method by another method, right? This is another design. Okay, refer to previous example. You are investigating pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests. You apply both qualitative and quantitative, not to complete the picture, not to have a complete picture, but to confirm the result of quantitative by qualitative. So you apply quantitative, you collect quantitative data to see the effect of some factors on pro-environmental behavior. And then you also conduct qualitative method again to see, okay, the effect of this factor on pro-environmental behavior you identify, and you found effect of factor A, B, C are significant, but effect of factors D, E, F are insignificant. So you do at the same time qualitative research, and you collect qualitative data to confirm, okay, the effect of this factor also based on qualitative, these factors are important and those factors are not important, right? So you want to confirm the result of one method by other method. Literature suggests if it's not really critical for your research, my recommendation is don't go for this corroboration or confirmation, because if you found a different result, what actually you will do if the result of qualitative and quantitative are not supported each other? So and sometimes actually it's not necessary to confirm result of one method by other method, right? But this is fifth one. Compensation. Sometimes one method has some weaknesses. You cannot have the complete picture. So here you can see also this one have some overlap with completeness. So one method is cannot give you complete picture. So there are some weaknesses in one method. So you apply another method. Sometimes okay, compensation also can be for example, you you apply qualitative method in qualitative method is a context-based method, so you cannot generalize your result. So this can be one of the weaknesses of qualitative method, but you want to generalize the result, right? So you also apply quantitative to generalize the result of qualitative, right? So this can be compensation. And diversity. Diversity, you can get the data from different resources. You can get data from different resources and have a diverse picture for your work. This somehow can be similar to complementarity. So you have diverse view on same phenomena. And also in first one, we had the data from hotel guests and also from managers. So two data, quantitative data from hotel guests and qualitative data from manager can complement each other. And also you can have diverse viewpoint about same phenomena, right? So we can see some overlap, but also we can find some situation that based on qualitative and quantitative data, we can have a diverse view about same phenomena. Okay, here is the table from Venkatesh. So here he explained, and he and his colleague explained these 7 purposes of selecting mixed method research or conducting mixed method research. And there are some example and illustration and explanation. If you want to know more about these 7 purposes of designing mixed method research, applying mixed method research, you can refer to this paper and read more about these 7 types of mixed method design, but based on rational and based on purpose of application of mixed. This is another understanding from this Rayleigh and Jones to understand the rational and also purpose of research. So again, so you can see this is similar to categorization of Venkatesh. Some research is triangulation and to corroborate or confirm, offset, compensation. We have different research questions, so we combine the qualitative and quantitative for research question to answer research question, and is diversity of view, so combining different view about same phenomenon. Okay, so this is for purpose of based on purpose of application of mixed method or mixed method. Step 2 is for designing mixed method after rational. It's type of combination, how we combine these how we combine these qualitative and quantitative. To combine qualitative and quantitative, they can have same and equivalent status design, right? So Again, this is based on our, always we need to go back to our research question and objective, right? And based on research question and objective and the reason that we apply mixed method, we can identify, okay, qualitative and quantitative have same weight, or one method is dominant and one method one method is less important, one method is more important, right? So we can identify, and we need to decide, we need to understand the status of each design. So it's dominant or equivalent. And also mixed method can be exploratory or can be confirmatory. This mixing can be fully mixing or can be partially mixing. If mixing qualitative and quantitative happen from the beginning and in whole process of research, so these two are fully combined. Even one method is dominant, but when we start from the beginning, this can be fully combined. But sometimes partially combined. Okay, let me give you an example. For example, you have okay, go back to my students' work for resident perception toward tourism in ethnic tourism context, right? So the main objective of study is to understand, to investigate factor influencing resident perception toward tourism development in ethnic tourism context. So this is one main research question. Another research question, to have actually complete picture of the resident perception in ethnic tourism, is to investigate, to explore perception of resident in ethnic tourism context. So we have two research questions, right? We have two research questions from the beginning. So we apply quantitative for first one. We have sufficient theory to support factor influencing resident perception. Also, we investigate, we want to investigate deeply resident perception of people are living in, perception of people are living in ethnic tourism context, right? So we have two research questions. One is factor influencing, supporting by theory. Another one is to explore perception. These two research questions start from the beginning. So this combination is fully mixed combination, because this combination happened from beginning, not in only part of study. But one method, quantitative method, it's quantitative method refer to main research question of this study. Quantitative method is dominant in this research. Qualitative method is not dominant, is embedded to this research, right? So they don't have equivalent weight, but combining these two is fully combination from the beginning until end, until interpretation stage. So in interpretation, need to interpret these two results together. So it's fully combination, but one method is dominant, another method is part of this research, is embedded. Is one example. Another example, we collect data for factor influencing pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests. We collect only quantitative data, right? We collect only quantitative data. But in last stage of in data analysis stage, we apply both PLSSEM and FSQCA. So we analyze data using two different methods, quantitative method and fuzzy set qualitative comparative analysis. And in interpretation stage, we interpret the result from both PLSSEM and FSQCA. So what is this? We partially mix quantitative and qualitative, not fully. Right? So this is the example of partially mixed method. So the design of mixed method, after purpose, we need to understand the purpose. Then we need to understand how this mixing happens. It's fully or partially. It's dominant or equivalent. In data analysis, okay, now we know the purpose of mixed method, and we know the design, the method or type of combining qualitative and quantitative. So now in data collection and analyzing data, how data collection happen for this research? We collect data concurrently. We collect data sequentially. How we collect data? This depends again, and we need to, this is part of our mixed method design. We need to understand, again, this refer to research question and purpose of our research. Okay. If we okay, go back to our example, pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests, right? So we decide to collect data from both hotel guests and the managers to have to complement data, to complement result from two parties. So, but collecting data from hotel guests and collecting data from managers can be done concurrently, right? So to collect data from manager, we don't need to know a result from hotel guests, right? So these two data collection can happen together. So it's complementarity, and actually the weightage of each method is not equivalent, still dominant. Quantitative is dominant, but qualitative can complement this picture. So it's fully combined from the beginning happen, and this and the data collection is for two methods happening concurrently together, right? But for developmental, for rural area, example for adoption of technology in rural area, first we need to, because we have lack of theoretical ground, so we have some factor influencing on adoption of technology from literature and from theory, and we need to add some factors that are related or linked to rural context. So first we need to collect qualitative data, we need to analyze qualitative data, and then extracting factors should be included in our framework, and then go for quantitative data collection. Most of time, developmental design of mixed method, we need to collect sequential data. So we need to have sequential data collection processes, right? So based on our research question and based on our mixed method design and purpose of the mixed method, we need to decide when should we collect data. When should we collect both quantitative and qualitative data concurrently or sequentially, right? So this is third step, step 3. These steps actually based on Venkatesh guideline 2013 and 2016. There are many similarities based on this. I selected this one because it's clearer compared to other guidelines, but there are many common and similar steps with other research. Okay, so if we continue this step 3 and combine with the step 1 and step 2, we can have the concurrent based on data collection, right? Based on data collection and conducting qualitative and quantitative phases. We can have concurrent mixed method, we can have sequential mixed method, but sequential qualitative, quantitative means first qualitative and then quantitative. We can have sequential quantitative, qualitative. Later, I will give you some example for this one because I have a simple categorization and I try to, based on this, categorize different design in 4 main categories. So I will give you some examples. So this can be concurrent, this can be sequential qualitative, quantitative, or quantitative qualitative data collection, and then of course analysis. This is some categorization from other work, Leach and Oegbozi 2009. Here you can see 3 parameters for this categorization that we discussed. Level of mixing, full or partially, time orientation, concurrent or sequential, emphasis of approaches, can be dominant or equivalent. Based on these 3, they categorize they identify different types of mixed method, and you can see a typology of mixed method design based on these 3 categories. So can be partially concurrent or sequential, can be fully concurrent or sequential. So can be equivalent or equal status, can be one dominant status. So here you can see here there are 8, but can be 16 and more. Actually, in the literature you can find many design. For example, if you refer to Creswell early book, you can see more than 30 different design, 30 different design for mixed method, and then they try to reduce and combine some part and come out with less types of design, but can be and all this design is based on level and type of combination. If you add purpose to these different designs, so you can have much more design of mixed method. Okay, if we combine all these types and understanding, maybe we can have, based on my understanding, we can have these 4 main categories for a design of mixed method, not based on purpose. Purpose actually can be each method, each design that here we have, it can link to some of the purpose of mixed method. So purpose is different, but based on dominance and the time and the sequence and okay, this here we have emphasis dimension. So which one is dominant, and time, and also mixing dimension, partially and fully. We can have these 4 main categories of four main types of mixed method design. Okay, some of you asked some question in chat box. Actually, when I'm explaining, I don't check chat box. So if you have any question, you want to ask this question now during my presentation, so please unmute your mic and ask your question. If you want to wait until end, okay, until at the end of this session, I will go through your question. So we have four main categories: sequential, exploratory, sequential explanatory, concurrent triangulation, and concurrent embedded. Somehow purpose also linked to these categorization and these four categories. Sequential exploratory, qualitative is first and followed by quantitative. We'll explain very briefly in short one. Sequential explanatory, quantitative come first and followed by qualitative. Concurrent triangulation, both qualitative and quantitative data are collected concurrently, and almost they have same weight, so we don't have dominant approach. But concurrent nested again is concurrent, so we have data collection concurrently, but one method is dominant, another method is embedded to main method. So one method has more important, one research question has more importance, and main research question is linked to main method, addressed by main method. So one method is dominant, right? Okay. So what's the meaning of each one? For sequential exploratory, actually sequential exploratory most of time is for developmental research, developmental mixed method research. So for this one, always a qualitative phase comes first. This method is this design is applied for a situation that we have lack of theory, we have lack of some understanding on some phenomena, and we do qualitative research first, and then based on result of qualitative, the example that I gave you for rural area, we develop our framework, integrated framework, and test our framework using quantitative data. This is one example of sequential exploratory. So in sequential exploratory, always qualitative comes first. Another example of sequential exploratory, it's scale development process. When we want to develop and scale, for example, scale for guest attitude toward the green practices, right? We want to develop and scale for perceived value. We want to develop and scale for sustainability practices. We want to develop and scale for sustainability practices in, for example, sustainability practices of business in destination, right? So we want to develop and scale. For a scale development, always we need to conduct qualitative method. And then when analyze, we have to analyze qualitative data. And then based on result of qualitative data, we need to, and we can develop quantitative phase, collect data and analyze quantitative data. right? So it's sequential. Qualitative come first and quantitative then come in second phase, and based on the result of qualitative. So this is sequential, exploratory, and most of time developmental purpose of mixed method fall under this design. This is first one. Okay. Another example is to generalize result of qualitative. So you have a qualitative research and the context-based research, but you want to generalize the result, right? So to generalize the result, you apply quantitative in next phase, in second phase, and confirm the result and generalize the result of qualitative. So this is for sequential exploratory. Another type is sequential explanatory. Sequential explanatory is always quantitative come first. So you develop your model using, for example, theory, and okay, again, our example, pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests, right? So for pro-environmental behavior of hotel guests, you develop framework, you develop conceptual framework based on theory, and test this conceptual framework using quantitative data, right? So your research from the beginning, when you look at your research question, your research is pure quantitative. This is something that happened for sequential explanatory. In later stage of research, we realize that we need to apply qualitative and we need to continue with mixed method. Because from the beginning, your research question can be addressed by one method, by quantitative method, for example, right? But when you collect quantitative data and run the analysis and get the result of quantitative, you observe that there are some unexpected results. For example, you develop some factor from the literature and from the theory, and those factors should be significant effect on behavior of guests. But you see in your result, in your study, some of those factors are insignificant. So you don't understand the reason. You don't know why this happened, right? To understand the reason, you decide to apply a qualitative phase, a qualitative research, collect qualitative data from hotel guests to understand what's the reason, why this happened, why those factors doesn't have significant effect on behavior, pro-environmental behavior of guests. What's the reason? So you apply qualitative in second phase. So this is sequential explanatory. For sequential explanatory, we cannot decide about the mixed method design from the beginning. So this is another type of mixed method, right? But what, at the end, what can be the purpose of mixed method? This can be compensation, right? Offset. So you you have some result from quantitative, but the quantitative is not able to answer why those factors are not significant on those factors don't have significant effect on behavior. So you want to understand why and reason. So you apply qualitative to understand reason and why. So it's compensation, right? So this is sequential. First, you collect quantitative data and then continue with qualitative to understand why. Concurrent triangulation. So we have two types of concurrent. Concurrent triangulation, it's for a design that we consider equivalent weightage for both qualitative and quantitative. Equivalent weightage for both qualitative and quantitative. And most of time, concurrent triangulation is for corroboration or confirmation purpose. So we collect both qualitative and quantitative to confirm the result. Factor influencing hotel guests. Factor influencing behavior of the hotel guests, right? So from the beginning, you decide to collect both qualitative and quantitative data and confirm, cross-validate the result of quantitative by qualitative, right? So from the beginning, you decide and you collect both data from hotel guests to see whether qualitative data can confirm the result of quantitative or not, right? So you collect data concurrently. You don't need to wait for result of one method to start another method. When we say sequential, sequential means starting one method needs result of another method. Needs result of another method. For sequential explanatory, for starting qualitative, you need to have result of quantitative. Without result of quantitative, you cannot start qualitative data collection. For exploratory sequential, for starting quantitative, you need result of qualitative. Without that, you cannot start quantitative, right? But for concurrent, you don't need to wait for the result of other part. Maybe data collection can happen in two different periods of time, right? For example, you collect data from hotel guests today and collect quantitative data this week and qualitative data next week, for example, right? You collect data from resident, right? You collect data from, you collect quantitative data this month, and then next month come back to do qualitative data collection. So this is concurrent, this is considered concurrent, not sequential, because for collecting qualitative data, you don't need result of quantitative. Sequential is for situation that need the result of one method to start another method, right? So this is concurrent triangulation that almost they have same weightage, and you think, for example, here also we mention about offset or compensation. Also can be complete picture. You want to have complete picture of the pro-environmental behavior. So always is not corroboration or confirmation. You want to have complete picture, right? So you collect data from you collect data from hotel guests for their pro-environmental behavior and factor influencing, and also you collect quantitative data to test factor influencing their pro-environmental behavior. You don't want to confirm the result of one by another one, but you want to have complete picture, right? So this is concurrent triangulation. Another one is concurrent embedded. Again, you collect data concurrently, but you collect data concurrently, but in concurrent embedded, most of time one method is dominant and refer to two different research questions. Refer to two different research questions, right? So, for example, you want to investigate, okay, again, go to ethnic tourism research. So main research question is to understand factor influencing resident perception in ethnic tourism context, right? So this is main research question. And also we have another research question to understand, to deeply understand perception of resident, explore perception of resident. So these two research questions are need two different methods from the beginning. Is fully combination, but one method is dominant. Main research question is answered by a quantitative, but also to understand, for deep understanding of perception of resident, we apply qualitative. So qualitative is embedded to quantitative in this research. So this, and data can be collected concurrently. We should not wait for the result of quantitative to collect qualitative, right? So for this one, we can have a complete picture. So this can be completeness for the purpose of research. Sometimes we have compensation for this concurrent embedded. Or for example, another example, you conduct a qualitative research to understand the perception of tourists, to understand the satisfaction of international tourists in heritage site, right? So you develop a model, some factor influencing on satisfaction and revisit intention, and you identify some factor like destination image, authenticity, previous experience, expectation that influence their satisfaction and revisit intention, right? But this is a qualitative, sorry, this you want to understand attitude, right? And you decide to apply qualitative, not quantitative, qualitative. And based on this qualitative, you explore perception of international tourists about authenticity of destination, right? Authenticity of destination. So this is a qualitative research, right? But at the same time, you want to understand social demographic characteristic of those people and do some comparison between their perception about authenticity. So you collect also quantitative data. You collect quantitative data. This quantitative data and quantitative part is embedded to main part. Main part is qualitative and the perception of international tourists regarding authenticity of destination, right? But also you collect this quantitative data to have to compare, for example, between male and female, and have some data for their education level, and maybe do some comparison between based on education level and based on gender, right? So the main is qualitative, but there are some quantitative part, quantitative data that can be added to this research, and this is the actually this is embedded or nested to main research question. And so this is concurrent embed. So these four main category and design, you can have, based on this, you can have clear understanding what should be the design of your work. And these four main category, of course, can be linked to different purposes of mixed method. There are some strengths and weaknesses for mixed method. Strengths using mixed method can minimize the weaknesses of one single method and generate result that is not possible using one single method. So you can combine these two methods to get richer result and as we explained, you can complement the result, you can have clear, a complete picture, you can have diverse result, and you can compensate the result of one by other method. You can cross validate the finding, but if you have the same result from qualitative and quantitative, and overall combination of different methods can, especially for complex situation, can be more useful and can give you a complete picture, a comprehensive picture for social phenomena that you are investigating. Also, there are some weaknesses. Use of two method, a mixed method actually, of course, increase the cost and time, and most of people are experts in one method, right? So they are expert in quantitative or qualitative method. But when you want to apply mixed method, it's difficult to conduct a research by one person. So you need to have a team with the different methodological expertise. But if in your PhD you can understand these two different methods and qualitative and quantitative and apply for your work, so this can be excellent and can be useful for your future career. And if we apply mixed method for corroboration, especially, and confirmation, and we get the contrasting result, conflicting result, so this will be a big issue, which method you can rely on, and which data you can follow, and how you can interpret this conflicting result. Last part, it's a rigorousness of mixed method. How we can check robustness or rigorousness of our mixed method research and mixed method design. In a mixed method, you apply both qualitative and quantitative, right? And you combine qualitative and quantitative. So first step for rigorousness of mixed method is you have to be rigor for, you have to be robust for both qualitative and quantitative first, right? So you need to follow all steps for quantitative and qualitative based on standard in the field, and make sure that your qualitative and quantitative methods in the different stages have been applied rigorously, right? So it means for quantitative, okay, you need to explain about data collection, what's your sampling method, and what's your sample size, what analysis techniques have you you apply, and why these analysis technique did you apply, and what's the interpretation or reporting result of this analysis technique. Same for qualitative. What's your sample size? What's your sampling method? How did you collect your data? How did you interpret your data? What's your analysis method? And how did you report your result of analysis, right? So we need to make sure about robustness of our quantitative and qualitative, but it's not sufficient. It's necessary. It's necessary to have robustness for both quantitative and qualitative, but it's not sufficient. Also, we need to report, and we need to check for some other steps. First, a rationale for employing your mixed method. Why did you use mixed method? What's the reason and justification to use mixed method? So this is one of the most important part, that in methodology, when you apply mixed method, you need to explain. Why not only qualitative or quantitative? Why do you think mixed method can be suitable method for your research? So rational, and of course, when you explain about rational, you need to explain about purpose of mixed method, your mixed method, right? So it's complementary, is completeness, it's for corroboration, confirmation, is for compensation. So when you explain about rational and reason and justification, you need to explain about purpose. Okay, here, this actually paper, Rayleigh and joint, provided a checklist for robustness, to check robustness of or rigorousness of mixed method, right? This is first step, and you can here see the different options. Actually is a rubric, right? So if you identify rationale of using mixed method and why you apply mixed method, discuss the value of mixed method for your research. So this is first one. You can get a full mark for robustness of your related to this rationale of employing mixed method. If only you discuss about concept of both qualitative and quantitative, and fail to discuss about rationale for mixed method, so you can get part of your mark. But if you don't have any discussion about rationale, so you cannot get any mark for this part, for rationale of mixed method. So rationale you need to explain. Another part is element of writing. So this is the checklist for a robustness of mixed method. Cite current mixed method literature. If you include citation of current literature, mixed method literature, not only quantitative and qualitative, so you can get highest mark for these elements of writing and robustness of your mixed method. But if you discuss about mixed method, but don't cite mixed method literature, don't refer to proper references and article, so you can get partially your mark. And if you don't discuss about mixed method and don't discuss about element of mixed method, and don't cite literature, related literature, so you cannot get any mark for this part. Actually, this rubric is to check what component you have to report in your methodology for your thesis, for your paper, if you apply mixed data collection. Data collection. So explain about data collection for mixed method, not only qualitative and quantitative, right? So what strategy you apply for mixed method? Okay, what's it's concurrent, is sequential, and for both qualitative and quantitative, how you do you collect data, and what's the strategy for the data collection for each one? So if you explain all, you can get full mark. Is only focus on qualitative and quantitative, but don't explain about mixed method design, so you can get actually part of your mark. And if you focus only some study, I actually saw some study that mentioned this study apply mixed method, but when you look at the methodology, only you can find information about one method, not mixed method, not combination of the two methods, and not clear explanation about the two both quantitative and qualitative. Also for data analysis, you need to explain about qualitative and quantitative data analysis in detail. Data integration, how your data have been integrated and interpreted, in how you discuss result of qualitative and quantitative in your discussion. How this mixing of interpretation actually happen. So if you integrate the result in both in your discussion and discuss in detail, so you can get the full mark. But if you discuss separately, these are result of qualitative and this is the result of quantitative, and you don't have the integration of result and discussion, of course you lose your mark. And if there is no integration and interpretation of presentation, the reviewer and examiner will ask, oh, why did you apply qualitative and quantitative, and how this result of qualitative and quantitative have been interpreted and incorporated. And the type of mixed method, you need to explain what type of mixed method and what's the reason for this type of mixed method. So this is another part that you need to explain when you explain your methodology. So in methodology, you need to explain about rationale, you need to explain about design, you need to design a mixed method, you need to clearly explain both different steps for both qualitative and quantitative. And then in the data analysis, you need to show how data for qualitative and quantitative and result for these two have been integrated and interpreted. Thank you very much.